Kelly often told me I should be happier. I couldn't argue, not just because she loved every minute of every day despite her health problems, but because I hated life. I spent most days miserable, snapping at people closest to me, taking umbrage at every minor inconvenience, punching my knuckles bruised and bloody on the concrete floor of my parents' basement to relieve some of the pain inside. God, you're such an asshole, Kelly told me once, not really joking. Can't you just be happy? No, I really couldn't. My misery was hormonal and filial, worn like an uncomfortable coat in rough weather. Kelly and I met my sophomore year of high school. She had black hair and loose curls, dark brown eyes, pale skin with high color on her cheeks, and perfect bow lips. If not for the glasses, she would have looked like Snow White. Anorexia and bulimia were just becoming part of the national consciousness. One look at Kelly's 5'7", 90-pound frame, and I assumed I'd met my first real-life sufferer. Then she spoke, in a voice like nothing you've ever heard. Kelly sounded like a willow tree, delicate-looking but impossible to topple, a child's voice powered by an adult's chest. Leaning on crutches over the table where I was working, Kelly bought 2 tickets for the Winter Cotillion. She joked about hoping to be off the crutches by December. She smiled easily and with real joy. I didn't know it at the time, but the crutches were due to another broken hip. Kelly had been born months premature, less than 2 pounds of struggling baby bird tissue in an incubator. Doctors told her parents that Kelly wouldn't last the night. When Kelly lasted the night, doctors called it a miracle. They assured Kelly's parents she wouldn't last a week. Thus, the map of Kelly's life was drawn. Doctors set deadlines that they called impossible, and Kelly proved them wrong. Over the years, Kelly's doctors advised her parents to make funeral arrangements so often that it became a joke. Kelly was 17 when we met. She had been battling cystic fibrosis her entire life. 2 things about her illness bothered her. She had a port in her chest for needles and IVs. She called it her third nipple. Then the tips of her long, delicate fingers were slightly bulbous, and she called them birdie hands. Otherwise, she was the most optimistic person I had ever met. More than anything, Kelly loved to laugh. I pushed jokes until she actually screamed laughter, her voice losing air until it dissolved into a coughing fit, leaving her red-faced, tears running from her eyes. It sounds terrible, but it was an ecstatic loss of control. She said those laughing jags were worth the coughing fits. A few weeks after I sold Kelly tickets, I began dating her best friend. Kelly watched my 2-year relationship with Mickey unfold. We fought almost constantly, if you can call my passive-aggressive, silent brooding fighting. She knew Mickey took my virginity in the lead in all things sexual. She knew Mickey became pregnant in our 2nd year. She knew Mickey got an abortion, broke up with me, and started college, leaving me behind in high school. That summer before my senior year, Kelly and I went to see Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians in concert. Even though Kelly had graduated high school, she confessed a crush on someone who'd be starting his senior year in the fall. Playing the girlfriend role, I excitedly demanded the details. He's tall, with black hair and brown eyes, she said. I threw out some names, but she shook her head.